So as we know, we started yesterday we studied what is the definition of metals, and as well as I think we started physical properties of metals. So the first property we discussed about it is metals are metals are hard, but the hardness is not same. Am I right, everybody? And metals having high tensile strength. So yesterday I have given you the meaning of high tensile strength. In general language, if we want to say what do you mean by the high tensile strength, so we can say like holding capacity, or the exact meaning is like load bearing capacity. So that is what we used to call as high tensile strength. So this is the first physical properties of metals. So they are very, very hard. Generally, of course, there is a soft metals. Generally, the metals are very hard and they have high tensile strength. But if you notice it, all metals are hard, but hardness is not same. Hardness is not same for all the metals. So that is why if you have taken, like for example, particularly you can see, always there will be exemption, particularly the metals called as sodium and as well as potassium. So if you take these two metals, they always, of course, they are the metals, but they are having completely like different from all the physical properties of metals. Every metal is very hard, but this sodium and potassium, we can easily even cut with a what? Everybody?
Nice.
Cutting with
Knife.
a knife. Like a butter, like you can see solid butter, how we can cut with a knife. The similar way, people can cut like a slices with the help of knife. That is what sodium and potassium. So they're very soft actually. So that is why yesterday I have given you that statement. For example, the given materials, I have given you iron, I have given you copper, aluminum, sodium, magnesium, like that. Then you can see that to verify that the different metals have different hardness. So we can make, there is an experiment, we can make it. So iron is more harder than copper. Copper is more harder than aluminum. Aluminum is more harder than magnesium. Magnesium is more harder than sodium. So this is the order which actually we obtain from the activity. So that we have to make the activity that to very different metals have different hardness. So we can see that we can take the knife and we can cut the iron, we can cut the copper, we can try to cut. If you try to cut the aluminum, magnesium, and as well as sodium into small pieces, and try to take your observations during that time. So if you notice it, take out a small piece of like sodium metals, and all you see that sodium metal must be always, you might be studied in the lower classes also. Even chemistry, you might be studied. Sodium and as well as potassium, you cannot keep it in outside. Always we have to store under the what, guys? Everybody? Yes,
Kerosene.
stored under kerosene. Because sodium is highly reactive metal. As even metal activity series we studied. What is the first two metals? Please never call me AJ. Please never. So please means potassium. Am I right, everybody? Please respond. Never means sodium. So these are the two metals which are highly reactive in the reactivity series also. So these metals, even they will expose to the atmosphere, they will react with the air, they will react with the water, they will catch fire, and they will explode. That is the reason these metals always we must store under the what? Kerosene, so that they won't react. Basically, they won't react with kerosene. So you can see here, if you keep a small piece of sodium metal, store under the kerosene with the help of a pair of tongues. Don't carry with your hands, because if you carry with your hands, you will get the fire, because sodium is that much fastly reactive. Potassium is that much fastly reactive with atmosphere. So sodium and potassium, when you are cutting or when you are handling, we have to be very, very careful because it may affect, like it may catch fire and it may started burning also. So that is the reason. So what you have to do it, you have to take a small piece of sodium metal and store under the kerosene. Then you press it between the folds of a filter paper in order to make it dry. So take out after dipping in the kerosene and put it in a filter paper, and you just start pressing it so that it will become dry. Now you can see a dried sodium metal in a watch glass with the help of a pair of tongues and try to cut with a knife. So you can see that always we can cut easily by the knife sodium and little bit like magnesium ribbons also after that we can. So slowly if you keep on coming to the iron, it is impossible to cut. It is very, very tough to cut the iron with the help of knife. So that is why we will say iron is a what, guys? Iron is very, very hard. Do you understand, all of you? Yes, please. Please respond.
Yes.
So iron is very, very hard. But now in this activity, there is a competency based question. That is what? You cannot cut the sodium metal directly. So how you need to cut the sodium metal? Everybody, first you have to dip into the where? Everybody, you have to take the sodium metal. Suppose sodium metal is stored in the container. You cannot take it and directly you can cut it. So what you have to do it, guys? Take one piece of sodium metal, for example, with the help of pair of tongues. With the help of pair of tongues you have taken. You must dip into the where first? All of you. You must dip into the, yes, please respond. Kerosene. And then you take away and put it into the filter paper. Just try to press it so that it will be appears to be dry, but of course it is experiencing with the kerosene so that it won't catch the fire. Do you understand, Mr. Harish? So when you are
Yes.
cutting with a knife, as it is already stored in the kerosene and it is experiencing with the kerosene, so that it will be a slight like a time enough to not to catch the fire. So that is the reason always handle the sodium metal with the what? With the care. Clear? So whenever you find a sodium metal, you people cannot handle as like you want. You always need to be careful when you are cutting, when you are using the sodium metal, because it will easily react with the what? Everybody. It will easily react with the air and as well as water, moisture, whatever it is. That is the reason we must be very careful while you are handling the sodium. Clear, guys? All of you? Please
Yes,
respond.
sir.
They will ask you
Yes, sir.
why you need to be careful with the sodium while you're handling. Mr. Omar, are you there? Respond me. Understand? So that is what it is. So that is the first property. So next, second property. The metals have high density. Omar, second property. The metals have high density. So this is the second property of metals. So basically, you all people know physics. You might be studied first. Let me teach you once again. What do you mean by density? Anybody can tell? What do you mean by density? What you studied? Yes, please.
Mass by volume.
Yeah. Arun Kailash? Yes, please respond. What is density? So we all people studied in lower classes. Density means, please learn it. Don't forget it. Density means mass by volume. So that is what we used to call as density. What is the units, guys? SI unit. Please learn. SI means Terima. Ellame. Many of you are my old students only. SI means what? Respond. Standard
Standard internet.
International Unit. Now, if you are studying chemistry, it doesn't mean that you need to know, don't know density. You have to know. Because density importance, more than physics, you are having importance in chemistry only. So SI unit, SI unit is, what is the mass unit? Kilogram. And volume unit is cubic meter. And same way, if you take CGS unit, centimeter gram second. 10th class also, if you don't know, you cannot be. So centimeter gram second units. This is our Indian system of units. Indian units. So unit is gram per cubic centimeter. So density means mass by volume. The SI unit is kilogram per cubic meter, or CGS unit is gram per cubic centimeter. So if you notice here, generally metals, if you have taken, all of you observe very carefully, they are in solid structure. Of course, there is a liquid metal called as exemption. What is that, everybody? Yes,
Mercury.
mercury. So other than the mercury, if you have taken, so mostly generally, that is what I'm using a word called as generally. So generally metals are having what, guys? They're having a perfect structure. Am I right or wrong, all of you? So that is what we used to call as metals are crystalline in nature. So geometrically they are very solid structures. Okay, crystalline solids. So atoms are very closely packed or loosely packed? Everybody. Atoms are?
Closely.
Yes, please.
Closely packed.
Atoms are closely packed. So atoms are closely packed. So that you tell me, due to that, that is what 6th class chemistry, 7th class chemistry, everything you should know. So atoms are closely packed, so that many properties you can say. So because of closely packed, they are having closed packed structure, closed packed structure. So closed packed structure means atoms are close enough so that something is greater between them. Anybody? They're having what? Particles is having strong intraatomic forces. Okay, intermolecular forces, or we can say intermolecular forces, or we can say intraatomic forces. Strong intraatomic forces. So because of this, you can see they're having high density or low density. Everybody. Yes, please.
High density.
They're having the high density because of strong intermolecular force of attraction. Do you all understand, guys? Please respond. Because of strong intermolecular force of attraction, so they always will be having, you can see, they'll be having very high density. So that is what you can say. Due to high density, they are actually heavy substances or light substances. Metals are, all of you, metals are heavy substances. Okay, so for example, if you take an, okay, so for example, iron, if you take, what is the density of iron, all of you? Density of iron. So density of iron, if you have taken 7.8 gram per cubic centimeter, or 7,800 kilogram per cubic meter. Understand, all of you? Means if you have taken 1 cubic meter of volume, 1 cubic meter of volume of iron. Imagine that 1 cubic meter means you all people knows each side how much? 1 meter, 1 meter and 1 meter. So if I prepare a iron piece with 1 cubic meter volume, 1 cubic meter volume, then which is equals to how many kgs, guys? How many kgs it will come? It will come around 7,800 kgs, which is equals to 1 cubic meter volume. So that is what is density. Do you all understand, everybody? Please respond. Anything doubt?
Yes, sir.
So that is the density of iron. So extremely high it is. Like that you can take anything. So of course, again here also, again exception will be there. So what is the exception? Two metals. Again, I told you already. That is what?
Sodium,
Sodium
potassium.
sodium and potassium. So if I have taken sodium, so it is again low density, 0.97 gram per cubic centimeter. Potassium, 0.86 gram per cubic centimeter. Now, from this, there is a competency based question. Anybody can guess what is the competency based question here? I will form a question. You list it. So there is a question I will ask you for example. But generally, metal will sink or float in the water. Anybody? Generally, metals will sink or float in the water.
Sink in the water.
Sink in the water. But there is a metal who will float in the water and also will catch the fire. Highly reactive. Can you guess that metals? Anybody?
Sodium.
Yes. Sodium and potassium. Do you all understand it? Because What is the water density? All of you. Water density is 1 gram per cubic centimeter. Do you all understand, Amma? But what is the sodium density? Less than 1. So that is why, and even potassium density is less than 1. So that is why they will float in water or they will sink in water. Everybody. They will
Float in water.
float
Float
in
in
water. Do you are understanding? So there is a question possibility from here. 100% they will ask you. So even they will ask you identify the metal based upon the density. So then also you cannot say no. You have to be. Understand, Mitakshri? What is the possibility of asking? Mr. Pugal, why you are late? I want to know reason. Speak. Nothing will happen. What is the reason, boy? 15 minutes, 20 minutes late you are. Sincerity is lagging every day. You also turning like Omar every day. See that after 10 minutes he slept. I know very well. He's sleeping now also. Simply always. So that is what. So there is a question possibility here. What is that, guys? So they will ask even identify a metal with the help of density. Do you understand? Everybody? So they will ask you a given metal density is 0.97, which will also float in water, which will also highly react with the water, which will also explode in the water. Understanding? Highly exothermic reaction. So that is, what is a metal? Everybody. Either it is a sodium or it is a yes, please.
Sir, only sodium.
Sodium or potassium. Both can.
Yes, sir, but the density of sodium is only 0.9.
Density of potassium. Yes, 0.97 specified means you can go with the sodium. If they say the both metals say, suppose Harish, suppose they'll ask you the metals having less density than water. Identify the metals who is having less density than water and highly vigorously react. Then what is the metals? Sodium and
Sodium.
potassium. Do you understand, all of you? So in such a way they will ask you the question. So we have to be complete knowledge regarding that. By the time our mind even not remember what is the density of water also. So you have to be very precise with that. If the density of water is not remembered, then we don't know which metals is having. So that is what you have to be very careful. Now, there is a science in life here. There is a fact that is what is present is needed. So now if you take some metals, you people even might be not even heard about it. So there is a metals called as osmium, iridium, platinum. Platinum, of course, we all people knows. So these are the most dense metals, highest density. Like you can take that they're having a very, very high density, like most dense metals. So even you can take metal activity series, we included platinum also. Do you remember, all of you? Please never call me a zebra. I like hydrogen. Call me a pretty girl. Am I right? Pretty girl. Pretty girl. Girl indicate gold. Gold before what will come? Platinum only. Am I right, guys? Yes. So that is what. So yes. So that is what we can say that. So these are the most highest density metals. Now, less than sodium and potassium, there is a metal who is having even less lightest metal. Anybody can guess what is the lightest metal which is present before sodium and potassium? That is what is the metal we used to call as very popular batteries, EV batteries. What is the battery's name? Lithium ion batteries. All people knows, everyone? Lithium. So lithium is the lightest metal. The modern mobiles, you can see that your phones having lithium battery, your scooters having lithium batteries, your cars, bikes, everywhere EV, electric vehicles, all the things is having lithium ion batteries only. World's very costliest and expensive batteries. So they are made up of actually lithium ions. You can see that your mobiles is having lithium batteries. Nowadays, battery we cannot be removed. It is a fixed batteries. Do you remember, all of you? Yes, please. So that is what it is made up of, lithium ions, because of less weight. Nowadays, phones are coming too much of weightless because battery mass is reduced because of it is made up of lithium ions. That is the reason the weight of the phone is decreasing. So that is why you can see even nowadays everywhere we are using lithium ion batteries only, because of even, of course, the weight is also very less. And if you take now present situation, these modern times, we're using platinum in making jewelry, which is actually is a present trend now, because the platinum is used in protection of environment also, because it won't react. Platinum jewelries will never react, least react with the atmosphere. And also, of course, it is very expensive, a very expensive metal. And nowadays you can see the girls also, they'll be like a pond of love with putting jewelries with the platinums and all, platinum diamonds and all. So because of because of this least reaction, and there is no harmful effect to the environment, so there will be protection of environment also. So we no need to be like any corrosions, this, that, and all cannot be happen with that. So highest, if you want, you can make it the highest density materials, this osmium, iridium, and as well as platinum. So if you want, you can take the platinum density is 21.45 gram per cubic centimeter. Platinum alone, you can have highest. For example, if you want to write, you can write example. Okay. So that is the second property. Next, third physical property, that is what? Metals are lustrous. So we all people are very familiar with the word called as lustrous. Anybody can tell what is the meaning of lustrous, please? Yes, please.
Shining.
Yeah.
Shining.
But you should remember, these metals will show the lustrous in nature only when they are in pure state. Okay. So pure state in the sense of, for example, they are corroded. Is it possible to see the lustrous? Anybody? Please
No,
respond.
No,
No. So that is what you have to be very careful. So all metals in their pure state, they have luster. When they are in a pure state, definitely they have a luster, including the liquid metal called as mercury. So these metals having, what do you mean by luster, everybody? What do you mean by that? They have shine.
shining.
Understanding? They have shining appearance, or we used to call as, that shining is only we used to call as what? Simple language, if you want to say, brightness. Understanding? So that it is actually for metals. That is why we used to call this one as metallic luster. Please remember that. Metallic luster. So the metallic luster, what do you mean by that? Metallic luster is a property of metal having a shining surface. It is a property. It is a property of metals having what, guys? Everybody? Having a, yes, please. Shining surface. That is what we used to call as lustrous. Clear, everybody? Mr. Sanjay Ganan, Rohit, anybody doubt, ask me. Pugal, I'm calling you.
sir.
Respond, say yes or no. That is. So now if you notice it, the metal shows this property due to the presence of large number of free electrons. This is the reason you people need to know why the metals having lustrous in nature. What is the reason, everybody? Because of, yes, please, large number of what? Large number of free electrons. Clear? So when the light falls on the metallic surface, the atoms will absorb, understanding, this light, and they will start vibrating, because of the light is also a form of energy. So when the light will falls on these atoms of the metals, so they have many free electrons. Because of this free electrons only, it is appears to be shining. So when the light will falls on it, these atoms will start vibrating. Due to the vibration, electrons will release energy in the form of light. As a result, the metal surfaces appears to be what, guys? Appears to be shine. Okay, that is the physics concept which is exactly behind this chemistry. Lustrous behavior is not actually the metals is happening. When the light will falls on it, because of they're having extremely free electrons, so they will start vibrating. Atoms will start vibrating. So because of this vibration means something will increases. Can you tell me what will increases? Physics. Atoms will start vibrating. Even chemistry 9th class you studied. Vibration
Kinetic energy.
causes increase in what energy? Increase in kinetic energy. That is what? Electrons will release the energy in the form of light and makes a result that metal surfaces will shine. So that is what we will say. The shiny appearance of metals makes them, they are the good reflectors of light. That is why you can see, how many of you see your face when you are eating the food to the steel plate? Do you all able to see or not? When you're drinking a milk or when you're drinking a water through the steel glass, at the end of drinking, you can see when you lift the glass and you drink, at the last you can see your face in the backside. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. All of you? Metal plates.
Yes, sir.
Whenever you are eating the food or when you are using anywhere, we will start seeing our, even girls you can see most probably when they're using kitchen and all, automatically they will adjust their hair or this, that and all by seeing through the plates. Because they are the good reflectors of what? They are the good reflectors of, yes please. All of you.
Light.
They are the good reflectors of light. Physics again. They are the good reflectors of light because they are what in nature? They are
Lustrous in
lustrous.
nature.
Why lustrous in nature? Because they have a free electrons. Why the free electrons makes them? When the light will falls, these free electrons, because of the energy vibration, atoms will start vibrating so that they will start releasing the energy. The vibration makes the electrons to release the energy in the form of light. That is what makes the shine. But if you notice it, if they will be exposed to the corrosion, do you think that they will show this kind of shining nature? That is what is my question. All of you?
No.
No. So that is what you have to remember. Luster of metals get tarnished on exposed to air. So if you notice it, all of you, so you can see due to the exposure to air, metal become dull in appearance. That is what we used to call as a concept called, first chapter also we studied that. What is that, all of you? We used to call as corrosion. Due to corrosion, the metals lost their shiny appearance. They will turn into what appearance? Dull in appearance. Understanding, all of you? Now, if you keep your iron for 1 month, 2 months in particular place, it will be completely corroded and it will never be having appearance, brightening appearance. That is what luster in nature. But at that instant, if you try to cut with some kind of blade or something, oxa blade or machine cutting, then you can see that surface appears to be luster. Do you remember, everybody? Yes, please. All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now I am using a new word called as, again, vocabulary. Again, this word will come in exams or in meaning theriyadu, mudinjichas are over. Tarnished. All of you remember. There is a word called as tarnished. What do you mean by tarnished? Anybody? Suppose I said tarnished coin. Why the tarnished coin is not appears to be shiny or luster? Suppose I say tarnished coin of copper. So do you think what is the color of the copper? Tarnished color of the copper coin? Anybody can tell?
Green.
Yes, please. What is the color?
Green.
Green color.
Green color.
Understanding? That is what. So tarnished means, what do you mean by tarnished? Anybody can tell? That is what rusted.
Dull.
Dull in
Rusted.
appearance. Lust. That is what rusted. Rusted meaning is only tarnished. Tarnished iron chair. It will turn into what color? Anybody can tell? Tarnished iron chair. Iron chain. For example, I will say. So tarnished means what? Rusted. What is the color of this one?
Red.
Red brown. Understanding, all of you? So that is what. So metals in pure state, they have the shiny appearance, which is only called as metallic luster. Metallic luster. This metallic luster get tarnished, means become dull in appearance on exposure to what? Exposure to air. That is what we used to call as corrosion. So that is what you have to remember it. Are you clear, everybody? Please respond, guys. Yes. That is the reason before heating the magnesium, why we should rub with the sandpaper. At the beginning of the chapter we studied, when? First chapter. First activity in class 10, burning of magnesium ribbon. Why? What is the reason? Because of exposure to the iron, because of exposure the metal to the air, corrosion will take place. Due to that, there will be formation of what? All of you. Formation of oxides, sulfides, carbonates. So there will be a formation of metal oxides, sulfides, and as well as carbonates. Due to this, they will turn into tarnished, because means they will turn into dull appearance. Is it okay, guys? Please respond. Dull in
Yes, sir.
appearance.
Yes, sir.
So now there is a question from this. Even they can ask you in exam. They won't ask you corrosion like what is the corrosion reaction of silver directly? What is the corrosion reaction of copper directly? What is the corrosion reaction of iron directly? They might be asking the question like CBQ again. You can list it here. Write